What if the time your teen son needs from you most is the time he seems to want the least? As our sons grow up, they get busier, and sometimes it feels like we get pushed to the side. But how do we stay connected without holding them back? In today's episode, we're talking about quality time and how to build a relationship that grows with your son into adulthood. Welcome to Raising Boys with Purpose, a Christian parenting podcast for moms raising teens and young adult sons. I'm Brooke, a boy mom and parenting coach, and here we talk about raising sons, building character, and preparing our boys for adulthood with confidence and faith. Now, before we jump in, if you're looking for a community of moms who are learning how to raise boys into young men, I'd love to invite you to join us in the Raising Boys with Purpose Facebook group. You'll find the link in the description. It's a space for encouragement, real conversations, and support, because you're not meant to figure this out alone. So have you noticed that as your boys get older, life just gets busier? When they were young, they might have been trying out different sports or activities, figuring out what they enjoyed. You were the taxi, but you were also in control. You decided the schedule, chose the activities, planned the playdates, and decided when everyone needed a break. Then one day you realize they're growing up. They're choosing their own friends and activities. They're trying new things or letting go of things they used to love. Their interests are changing, and you're not the one guiding every decision anymore. So what does that look like for us as moms? What do we do now? I've lost count of how many sports practices and games I've attended when my sons were young. Most of their after-school and summer activities I took them to. My husband would often take them to school in the morning if he could, and to evening activities. On Saturdays, though, the whole family showed up for each boy's events. Unless they both had something at the same time. Then it was divide and conquer. One of the important guidelines in our family was that we supported each other in our interests. My oldest attended his brother's piano recitals, and our youngest showed up for those early cross-country races. But as they got older, things shifted. They became busy with jobs, friends, and their own interests. A family calendar became our best friend. But even though we were spending a lot of time together, we started to realize something important. Not all time together is quality time. So what is quality time? Quality time is giving our teen son our undivided attention. And that's not easy, because time feels scarce during the teen years. But it is one of the most important ways we can show love to our sons. Just being in the same room isn't enough. The key is that when we're with him, he feels like he is the focus. He knows he matters more than whatever else is going on. So how do we actually show him that? First, we need real conversations. The kind that invite him to share his thoughts, feelings, ideas, even his dreams, without pressure. This isn't about talking at him. It's about creating space for him to talk. That means actively listening and gently drawing him out. Not with rapid-fire questions, but by showing genuine interest in what he's saying. Our sons are developing their own identity. And if we want them to let us into that process, we have to be a safe place, encouraging them while still helping them think through what they believe and how to act on it. Now, how do we encourage that kind of conversation? Gary Chapman shares guidelines for promoting quality conversation, and they really come down to this. Give your son your full attention. Pay attention to his body language and his emotions. Don't interrupt. Listen first. Ask questions to understand, not to correct. And then, one of the hardest parts, ask before you share your perspective. This is where the shift happens. When we ask permission, we're treating them like the young men they're becoming, not the little boys they used to be. And that's what builds a relationship that can last into adulthood. Because the truth is, if they don't feel heard, they're not going to listen. Another important point is how we respond when it's our turn to talk. Instead of pointing out everything they did wrong, we focus on sharing our thoughts and feelings. This is where I statements matter. I feel instead of you always. This keeps the conversation open instead of shutting it down. It invites dialogue instead of creating defensiveness. We're not giving a lecture. We're building a conversation. And when we do that, they're far more likely to share their perspective, which gives us the opportunity to keep that connection growing. Now, as I've said before, some of the best conversations I've had with my sons happened in the car while I was playing taxi. But what happens when they get their license and they don't need us for rides anymore? That's where we have to be more intentional. We have to stay involved in their daily lives and create opportunities to spend time together. Not force it, but plan it. Because they're busy. They have full schedules, friends, and growing independence. When we work with them to plan time together, we're showing them something important. I see that you're growing up. I respect your time, and I still want to be part of your life. That's how we move from a parent-child relationship to something more mature. Now, there will still be non-negotiables in your family, and that's okay. But when we communicate those clearly and explain why, we're helping them understand our values, not just following rules. And what if your son doesn't want to talk? This is where we have to stay steady. It's not a time for hurt feelings. It's a time for consistency. We let them know, I love you. I'm here, and whenever you're ready, I'll listen. Sometimes they just need time to process. Our job is to keep the door open. So, Mama, as our sons are changing and growing, we need to change and grow too. It's not easy, but this is the work that matters. We want them to become independent. We want them to develop their own identity. And if we want to stay connected through that process, we have to begin reimagining our relationship with them. Not just as their mom, but as someone they trust, respect, and want to stay connected to, even into adulthood. Because our sons are becoming young men we can be proud of. And when we learn how to spend intentional, meaningful time with them now, we're building a relationship that can last a lifetime. If this episode of Raising Boys with Purpose encouraged you, please like this video and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes of this podcast. And if you're raising a teen or young adult son and want encouragement and practical guidance, come join us in the Raising Boys with Purpose Facebook community. The link is below. Thanks for being here today. Now grab your iced coffee, hug your son, and remember, you're raising him with purpose.